It's the morning after one of the most remarkable days seen in many years here in Korea. We'll be with you throughout the weekend to keep you up to date on the latest post-Inter-Korean Summit developments. So let's give you a rundown of the history the world witnessed on Friday, a summit agreement between the leaders of South and North Korea, President Moon Jae-in and Kim Jong-un, in the Panmunjom Declaration for Peace, Prosperity and Unification of the Korean Peninsula. The two leaders pledged to remove nuclear weapons from the Korean Peninsula. They also pledged to turn the demilitarized zone, the DMZ, between the two Koreas into a, quote, genuine peace zone and stop all hostile activities in scenes that will be etched into the minds of the Korean people for years, decades to come. Kim Jong-un crossed the DMZ into the south, the first North Korean leader to do that. Our Moon Gon-young starts us off.
A final peace and no nuclear arms. The leaders of South and North Korea embraced on Friday after agreeing to work towards the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula on a day of smiles and handshakes at the historic Inter-Korean Summit in over a decade.
오늘 김정은 위원장과 나는 완전한 비핵화를 통해 핵없는 한반도를 실현하는 것이 우리의 공동 목표라는 것을 확인했습니다.
The fact that Moon Jae-in and Kim Jong-un spent so much time together and came up with a joint statement that even includes the word denuclearization marked a surprising development after a year of threats and missile launches that brought the specter of war back to the Korean Peninsula. The two Koreas also announced that they would work with the United States and China this year to declare an official end to the 1950s Korean War and seek an agreement to establish permanent and solid peace.
평화로운 땅에서 번영과 행복을 누리는 새 시대를 열어나갈 확고한 의지를 같이 하고 이를 위한 실천적 대책들을 합의하였습니다.
The delegation includes promises to pursue phased arms reduction, seize hostile acts, transform their fortified border into a peace zone, and seek multilateral talks with other countries, including the United States. Even the most optimistic analysts were surprised at the scope of the agreement, noting in particular that Kim has now signed a document that includes the word denuclearization. But the North Korean leader did not mention denuclearization, and analysts warned that while the summit was a good first step, similar promises had been made before and much remained to be done to resolve the issue of the North atomic arsenal. In coming weeks, the North Korean leader is due to hold a much-anticipated meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump, who has demanded Pyongyang give up its weapons that will be crucial in shaping progress. Moon Gon-young, Arirang News.
Now, lowering military tensions on the Korean Peninsula was another one of the three major agendas set by the leaders of South and North Korea. Moon and Kim agreed to cease all hostile acts near the DMZ starting May 1st, just a few days away, and to discuss specific measures at general-level military talks also next month. All of this is happening a matter of months after it looks like war could potentially break out at any time here on the Korean Peninsula. Oh Jung-hee with more.
The first military talks in 3 years are expected to be held next month as part of efforts to lower military tension on the Korean Peninsula and eliminate the possibility of war. At the summit talks on Friday, South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un agreed that the military authorities of Seoul and Pyongyang will from now on meet frequently. They sealed the deal to hold a general-level military talks in May for de-escalating tensions at both their land and maritime borders. Hostile acts at the border area will be seized as well.
The two sides agreed to end all hostile acts near the military demarcation line as of May 1st. That includes turning off loudspeaker broadcasts and stopping the distribution of propaganda leaflets. We also agreed to transform the current demilitarized zone into a truly demilitarized peace zone.
That involves simply carrying out what's already been stipulated in the 1953 Armistice Agreement, removing military forces in areas of up to 2 kilometers north and south of the inter-Korean border. If carried out, Seoul sees this as contributing greatly to preventing accidental clashes. At the joint press announcement after the talks, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un emphasized there should be no more confrontation between the two Koreas.
무엇보다도 온 결의가 전쟁 없는 평화로운 땅에서 번영과 행복을 누리는 새 시대를 열어나갈 확고한 의지를 같이 하고 이를 위한 실천적 대책들을 합의하였습니다. 이토록 지척에 살고 있는 우리는 대결하여 싸워야 할 이민족이 아니라 단합하여 화목하게 살아야 할 한 핏줄을 이은 한 민족입니다.
The leaders of Seoul and Pyongyang reaffirmed their will to not use military force in any form and agreed to gradually disarm both sides of the border as they strive to alleviate military tension and make progress in building mutual trust. 오정희, Arirang News.
Now, the Panmunjom Declaration signed and sealed on Friday by the leaders of Korea also gives fresh hope to families separated by the Korean War that they can be reunited as soon as possible. The first one is planned for August, but that can't come fast enough for the families ripped apart for several decades. Our Hwang Ho-jun reports on how a solution was reached to one of the saddest aspects of the long-held ill will between the two Koreas.
For those who have been separated from their loved ones for more than half a century, it was an announcement that couldn't have come soon enough. The Panmunjom Declaration, the joint agreement reached Friday by South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, stipulates that the two Koreas will cooperate to swiftly resolve humanitarian issues resulted from the division of the nation. In other words, Seoul and Pyongyang will seek to resolve issues regarding the reunion of separated families by convening an inter-Korean Red Cross meeting.
더 늦기 전에 이산가족들의 만남이 시작될 것이며 고향을 방문하고 서신을 교환할 것입니다.
The earliest reunion will take place this coming August 15th, which is the National Liberation Day or Gwangbokjeol. The two Koreas also agreed to actively implement the projects previously stipulated in past inter-Korean agreements to promote a balanced economic growth and co-prosperity. To start it all off, the two sides agreed to adopt practical steps to link and modernize railways and roads between them on the eastern side of the peninsula, as well as between Seoul and the city of Siniju in the northwest of North Korea. Along with these agreements, the two Koreas also decided to set up a permanent joint communication office in the North Korean city of Kaesong, in addition to the two existing liaison offices located on each side of the border. The move is to prevent miscommunications from hampering inter-Korean ties from here on and to accelerate the regularization of inter-Korean talks. Hwang Ho-jun, Arirang News.
One of the most intriguing parts of the Inter-Korean summit was in the late afternoon when the two leaders took part in a tree planting ceremony and went for a walk along a nearby footbridge. The cameras were focused on Moon and Kim as they were locked in conversation for a good half an hour, providing us a glimpse of what normally happens behind closed doors. Kwon Jang-ho with the details.
First on the agenda in the afternoon was the planting of a commemorative tree. Shortly before 4:30 p.m, President Moon Jae-in emerged from the Peace House at Panmunjom. He eschewed the red carpet and motorcade and walked to the tree with his advisors. Meanwhile, Kim Jong-un turned up in a black limousine with his security personnel running alongside. After another quick handshake, the two leaders each picked up a shovel and completed the planting of a pine tree with soil from Paekdu Mountain in North Korea and from Halla Mountain in South Korea's Jeju Island. Pine trees hold an auspicious place in Korean history, representing peace and prosperity, and this one itself was originally sown in 1953, the year that hostilities ended in the Korean War. Kim offered a few comments before they continued to water the tree, again with water from rivers in the Koreas. A monument commemorating the occasion was unveiled with the words, "Here we plant peace and prosperity." Then they took a short stroll towards a footbridge where they looked at an old signpost that marked the military demarcation line before they sat down together at a table. The cameramen that had followed them were shooed away before they engaged in talks lasting some 30 minutes. This was the opportunity for the two leaders to have a frank discussion away from other officials and the press. What did the leaders talk about? That we may never know. The two leaders then walked back to the Peace House to continue their afternoon summit talks. Kwon Jang-ho, Arirang News.
Now, continuing our coverage of the summit, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's wife, Ri Sol-ju, also crossed over the border on Friday evening to join her husband. For dinner, it was the first time for the wife of a North Korean leader to step foot on South Korean soil upon her arrival. She was greeted by South Korea's First Lady, Kim Jong-suk, at the Peace House. Ri is known to have told President Moon that Kim Jong-un told her the talks were a success. The dinner was also held in a cozy atmosphere with musical performances. Before the North Korean delegation returned home, a farewell ceremony was held with another musical performance which featured video footage from earlier in the day. US President Donald Trump has expressed hope for the Korean Peninsula following the inter-Korean talks on Friday. While he said he hoped the two Koreas could achieve peace, he also said his administration will not play games when it comes to the denuclearization of the North. Park Hee-jun with the details.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Friday congratulated South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on their groundbreaking summit. Here are his words of hope and optimism during a ceremony for the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic team at the White House.
On the occasion of this week's meeting between President Moon and Kim Jong-un, I want to express my hope that all of the people of Korea, North Korea and South, can someday live in harmony, prosperity, and peace. And it looks like it could happen.
Trump also said he's looking forward to meeting Kim in the coming weeks where they will seek denuclearization and that it should be quite something. He added that he hopes Olympic athletes will be able to compete on a Korean peninsula that is free of nuclear weapons. On the same day, at a joint press conference with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, President Trump made it clear that he won't be played like his predecessors when it comes to denuclearization. While acknowledging the enthusiasm surrounding the peace talks and how they've never come this far before, he said,
"The United States has been played beautifully like a fiddle because you had a different kind of a leader. We're not going to be played, okay? We're going to hopefully make a deal. If we don't, that's fine."
He also said that the location of the potential U.S.-North Korea summit is down to 2 countries, but didn't specify what those 2 countries are. Park Hee-jun, Arirang News.
Now let's turn our attention to another breaking story. This is unrelated to Friday's summit, but it is more good news. Prime Minister Lee Nak-yeon confirmed on this Saturday that all 3 South Koreans kidnapped by pirates in waters off Western Africa have been released and they are safe and sound. The South Koreans were abducted in waters off Ghana's coast on March 26th by an unidentified group of pirates while they were fishing. Negotiations began as soon as word got out that the crew members had been taken hostage. No further details about the circumstances of their release were made public. The crewmen will be moved to a South Korean warship dispatched to the area to help rescuing them. And that's where we're going to wrap it up for now. We'll be back again at noon Korea time with all the latest news and reaction to the historic agreement reached between the leaders of the 2 Koreas. Thank you very much for joining us and stay tuned to Arirang TV. Until next time, goodbye.